ultimately you've got to get that manager to a point where they are strong enough to take an individual team meeting, because it's part of their job role and they need to do it in order to have that relationship with the team, to give the feedback to the team and so on. So we know that is very important for them to do. Why are they not strong enough to do it? What is it that is it their confidence? Is it that they're unsure of what they need to be assessing within that individual meeting? So it's really understanding why they're not strong enough, and then coaching them to a point where they are. So whenever I used to do training or definitely passing over a job role of some description, which ultimately that would have been from owner to manager, I would have always done sort of like a stepped process. So we would have done a role play as such between us, so we would have gone through it, then we would have done a role play, then the manager would have sat in with me on the individual meetings, then I would have sat in with her on the individual meetings, and then I would hopefully, by that point, she's at a point where she can flow with it. But you can't expect someone who's never done that before to be strong straight away in that position.
Definitely. And also, what is it that I always go back to, what is it that you want from those meetings? Is it that purely as an individual meeting we want to get feedback from the individual, we want to look at holidays, we want to look at any kind of main issues, we want to discuss what is it that you're looking for? And I think we need to start with the end in mind. So are you the one as an owner, depending on the structure you want to put, are you the one as an owner delivering the individual meetings to be a lot more focused on figures, and you want the manager to start perhaps with a basic of the holiday, and then you can build her or him or they to the bigger stage of taking over the whole individual meetings.
That's good.
But also really ultimately, yes, coaching is very important, coaching them to deliver what you want them to deliver within those meetings. But also perhaps having some feedback from the team, individuals themselves, like how is it going, how are you finding them impactful, etc.
Yeah, and also from a team's perspective as well, what do they want from the individual meetings? I mean, that's another conversation in itself, isn't it? But I think probably for me, when somebody isn't strong enough, I think maybe they're fearing confrontation within, do they not feel that they're experienced enough to do it and so on. So
imposter syndrome perhaps a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's just easing them in rather than saying to a manager, right, that's it, you're off to go. They don't feel they're not strong enough, and then it kind of goes to pot. I think it's just hand holding them through it. Because like you said, absolutely, you could separate out the meetings, so you come in and do the main parts of it, the figures and so on, and then the manager does the general side of things. Because ultimately there's the strength in it lies is that you just know what you're going in with, really. As long as you know what the discussion points are, if they're worried about the fact that it might be confrontational in any sort of way, then I think it's just about understanding that at that point, you don't have to give an answer there and then.
Yeah.
And I think you need to be telling your manager this so that they know if they're put on the spot, they don't need to give an answer straight away.
Yeah.
They can say, "Well, leave that with me,
I'll get back
and I'll
to you."
check. I'll check with the owner, and I'll get back to you." So maybe there's some of the reasons why.
Yeah, I mean, again, isn't it? It goes back to the structure. When you want the manager to start the individual meetings, because we know how important they are to free yourself up. I personally I used to still like having a quarterly meeting with the individuals, because I want to get to know them. I want them to know that I'm still around, that they still can ask me anything, that I'm still very much available. So the manager would do the monthly meetings, and then I would do the quarterly ones and set the target for the next quarter. So all the managers had to do was to follow up on what is the target and how far they're going from the target. But there's an element as well when we talk about the coaching is a lot of it is what I keep calling the clipboard manager, isn't it? Like, you've done this, you've done that, well done for this, not that. And there's no engagement. And I think perhaps with the manager, is this a manager that you've brought from the ranks who used to be, let's say, a therapist and then moved on up to assistant manager and then manager, in which case maybe she feels her positioning with the existing team is difficult. Is this a brand new manager that, you know, has had experience before? Not. So it goes back to kind of the experience of what they have. And what is it you want them to do? And what we coach them when we work with the managers is really starting to have more of a conversation, isn't it? But I think they seem to think that they go into the meetings thinking
they're going in for
it's going to be this, and there's no kind of leeway, and it's not a conversation. And next thing you know, what did you gain from it? Just a lot of and then actually did they talk to you? Well, not really. They don't really talk. I don't really gain from it. So something's not right.
No, and ultimately it's the manager's understanding of what that meeting, what is she trying to achieve from that meeting. And I mean, and like you said, not doing it in a clipboard style way, but she just, or she or he or whoever it is, just needs to be overseen, needs to be coached a little bit, needs to understand how to deal with difficult questioning and also how to understand how to get someone to talk and open up a little bit.
But there's an element as well, which I think we see it when we start coaching managers. Not everyone can coach other people, isn't it? In terms of not everyone can deliver individual meetings that are powerful. And there are some managers, perhaps you've put them into a position far too quickly and they're now a little bit out of their depth, and even if you coach them, it's just a little bit too fast, too quickly. So you're setting them up for failure a little bit. So therefore, if you're setting them up for failure, they're never going to have that element of, you know, feeling empowered and empowering. They're just going to be like very scared, and those individual meetings are just going to be very daunting. And if it is like that, somewhere along the line, the structure that you've created is not talking to the managers and the team, and next thing you know, and I'm thinking of someone that we coach where it was apparent there's no way she can go into an individual meeting. Don't know if you remember. And you know, it was just actually your positioning of this particular manager. Perhaps she needs to be more an operational manager or front of house manager, where she's not involved with the team because it just was absolutely petrifying for her. So if you setting someone up that way, then ultimately 6 months down the line you're going back to square one, aren't you? You're going back to, well, it's not happening, no one's actually empowered.
So it's just about really then reanalyzing what that person, what are the reasons for them not being strong enough to take the meetings, reanalyzing their positioning. Is it just a little bit of coaching and a little bit of time, a little bit of hand holding, or actually is that just not the right positioning of their role?
Because I think that ultimately that will set you back as a business in some respect, and what you want from those individual meetings is that connection, isn't it? And if someone is unable to give that connection, maybe there's maturity, maybe there's, you know, experience, there's that as well. Maybe you've got in front of you a very established team, which can be very daunting for a new manager or for someone that's fairly new in the industry. So you've got to analyse all of that, give them the tools to be able to do it. But equally, perhaps what I used to do, especially with new managers, is we're going to do the individual meeting together for the next 3 months, and then after that I'll see how they function and I see how they go. Otherwise, you just end up fighting a little bit of a losing battle. So all you have to do now is press the subscribe button and join us every week for an Insight Chat.
And if you have any burning questions that we haven't yet answered, then just pop in the comments below or send us an email and we can include them in one of our weekly chats.
And also we have started this amazing community of like-minded salon owners to join us on a monthly basis with our Insight Chat subscription.
On that chat as well, you'll also get access to lots of free downloads and content that can really support you in your business.
And thank you so much for listening.
And we'll see you next time.